Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Outer Rim Cantina. My name is Alan and today I'm here to give you your weekly Star Wars news roundup. So we have actually quite a lot to cover this week, so let's just get into it, starting with the May the 4th news. So for this weekend, or what's left of it, there are plenty of deals on everyone's favorite classic Star Wars games on Steam, GOG, Humble, and yes, even Origin. To celebrate May the 4th, EA has even added a bunch of classic games to their platform for you to purchase, like the Coder games and the original Battlefront from 2004, and even the original Battlefront from 2005. So if you just prefer buying things from Origin for whatever reason, you can. They have a bunch of the classic Star Wars games now for May the 4th, and I'm pretty sure they're going to stay after this weekend. But if you are thinking of picking one up on Origin, I would probably go ahead and do it because they're doing a 60% off sale right now anyways, so there really isn't any reason why you shouldn't buy it. Now continuing with the gaming news, EA Star Wars announced today that Respawn would be unveiling Jedi Fallen Order gameplay next month at EA Play and E3. That's something we don't see very often, considering EA created their own event across the street from E3 to solely focus on their own titles, but this tells me that maybe Respawn wants to reach out to as many people as possible and perhaps get some gamers that weren't interested in Star Wars before playing this new game. We'll just have to wait and see what they talk about and show at both of these events, and whether or not they will be the same or different. I know I will be watching the live streams of both of the events, assuming they have live streams, that is, and I will be talking all about them when they arrive. Moving on to Battlefront 2 news, Ben Walk, the community manager for EA Star Wars, announced that Anakin Skywalker would be getting some balancing changes in a small patch next week. Full release notes on what exactly is being changed will be coming closer to when the patch drops, but in the meantime they've made a server-side change that raises Anakin's battle point cost in trooper modes to 8,000 on Clone Wars maps and 12,000 on non-Clone Wars maps. I'm personally very excited to see more Anakin balancing because he is undoubtedly the most no-skill, overpowered hero in the entire game. Yeah, he's the chosen one, but that doesn't mean that he should be able to crush every other villain without much effort at all, or have two abilities that let him wipe an entire team in Heroes vs. Villains, Capital Supremacy, and Galactic Assault. Now, along with these changes coming to Anakin, Julian Moores, the hero designer for Battlefront, dropped a Twitter thread talking about balance changes coming to a variety of heroes based on community feedback. If you want to read the full thread detailing the changes, I will have it linked in the description, but you can expect changes to Yoda, Boba, Chewie, Obi-Wan, Vader, Finn, and Phasma. These changes will be coming at the end of the month update, along with changes to Heroes vs. Villains, which I talked about in an earlier news roundup. And the last bit of Battlefront news is that the community event for May the 4th has been completed. As a community, you were tasked with capturing 4 million command posts in Capital Supremacy to unlock Leia's iconic princess appearance, as seen in Episode 4, A New Hope. Don't worry if you didn't have time to participate in the challenge. As long as you log into the game before May 6th, you will be able to claim the skin through the crate menu. So if you have a spare moment here or there, go ahead and log in and claim that free skin, because it is most definitely worth it. Now moving on from gaming, Lucasfilm has officially unveiled the entire Journey to the Rise of Skywalker publishing program, detailing all the novels, short stories, and comics that are coming this year leading up to Episode 9. If you want to read the full list of Star Wars media that is coming this year, I will leave the link down in the description for you to check that out for yourself. But there are 4 things off of that list in particular that I am most excited for. Number 1 being a novel titled Resistance Reborn, which is basically going to follow the story of how the Resistance is going to get its numbers back, get its strength back, after they were pretty much all wiped out on Crate in The Last Jedi, and they had enough people to literally fit the entire Resistance inside the Millennium Falcon. Now, I am one of those people who is extremely interested in the scale of Star Wars and, like, the galactic politics, so, like, I'm interested in knowing, like, what the New Republic is doing now that their capital system was literally wiped out in The Force Awakens, what the First Order is doing now that Kylo Ren is running the show and Snoke is no longer pulling the strings, like, what are their goals now, what are they going to do, just stuff like that I'm extremely interested in, so this book will be very exciting for me. And the second book on the list is called Force Collector, which is basically going to follow a Force-sensitive kid who is interested in knowing the history of the Jedi, the history of the Force, kind of what he is, what he can do with these Force powers, and just all kinds of history stuff like that. So it's probably going to focus very heavily on stuff from the prequels and the original trilogy, because in the cover of the book, in his backpack, you can see a lot of different things he's carrying around, namely the old Imperial Stormtrooper helmet, the lightsaber, and he even has an old Jedi holocron just tucked away in his backpack there. So this will be very interesting to know kind of what these Force-sensitive people do now that the Jedi are destroyed once again and they kind of have nowhere to go and really no way to understand their powers or what they can do, where they come from, or anything like that. So actually getting to learn about all that stuff and how Force-sensitives kind of go about their day-to-day life in the sequel trilogy era is very exciting to me. The third thing is actually the comic miniseries titled Allegiance, which is going to follow Leia Organa, so we're going to get to see more of her as she goes to Mon Calamari to get some capital ships for the Resistance, and I assume this will follow kind of after the Resistance Reborn novel, so the Resistance, has their numbers back, but I mean, now they need ships to actually battle the First Order, and we're also going to get to see Mon Cala after they were invaded by the Empire in the Darth Vader comic series. So, very interesting, very cool. The last thing on my list of 4 favorites is The Art of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. Now, I'm mostly interested in this because of the cover that they released today, which shows both Rey and Kylo, with Rey on top with a red background behind her, Kylo on the bottom with a blue background behind him, and their lightsabers clashing once again. Now, in the Art of the Force Awakens book, they had Kylo on the front cover. In the Art of the Last Jedi book, they had Rey on the front cover. And now in Rise of Skywalker, they have both of them on the cover. So there's just so many things I could go about and analyze off of that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that for any of the rest of these books until we get more information about them, or until I just read them for myself. Now, I want to end this video on a bit of a somber note. As many of you know, we lost Peter Mayhew this week, the man behind the walking carpet that we all love, Chewbacca. Peter put his heart and soul into the character and continued doing that up until The Force Awakens. He loved the fans and everything good that Star Wars brought out in people. He was an all-around good guy who loved helping people and doing the right thing. And now, those words of Master Yoda in Episode 3 are all too real. Goodbye, Chewbacca. Miss you, I will. Now, after this, May the 4th will not only be a celebration of Star Wars, but also a celebration of Peter Mayhew and all he did for the fandom and community. May he rest in peace forever, traveling among the stars in the Millennium Falcon. And with that, I am going to leave you all here. I hope you have a wonderful May the 4th, and rest in peace, Peter Mayhew. May the Force be with us all.